Well, there's a lot more still to break down this morning, and we've got somebody here to help us. Joey Jones, Fox News contributor, retired bomb tech. Joey, we're looking at the map of the entire country right now. What are you seeing?
Yeah, let's go around the country again. So obviously we've talked about Kyiv, and there was an assault from the north. And really what we've learned is that what the map kind of shows us is that the Russians are trying to cut Kyiv off from the rest of the country and constrict in on that city. The number one high-value target is there. Zelensky's there. The Ukrainian government is there. Putin's suggestion is that if he can replace the government, that's his interest. I don't know that that's entirely true anymore. But as far as just fighting around the country goes, they're still reporting Kharkiv getting heavily shelled. Mariupol, they have a ceasefire here for the better part of today so that they can evacuate civilians out. But outside of that, heavy fighting. You have all these troops from Crimea that are going in both directions here, and there's a very concentrated effort to come this way and take Odessa. Now, we've talked about why this is important, but just to explain to people back home, you don't have to control the entire coastline to control the coastline. You just have to control the port cities, and that's what they're doing. They're going after them strategically, and disallowing these port cities from getting supplies, reinforcements, weapons from NATO countries to come in there. And that's obviously a tactic that they're finding success with. And so as you see going around the country, one thing that General Jack Keane has said, and one thing that General Kellogg has said, was that of all the options Vladimir Putin had, he took the most complicated and the most resource-intensive option on the table, which is a full assault in no less than 4 places.
Usually a combined arms assault would be more concentrated in one location to overwhelm.
Absolutely.
He did four locations. And as a result, we're even hearing reports in Kharkiv overnight that Ukrainian forces have made a minor counterattack all the way back to the Russian border as well. Maybe not strategically significant, but if anything, the Russians weren't expecting anywhere to be pushed back.
And there are a few places, I think it's Hostomel or Gostomel. There's a city with an air base just outside of Kyiv, and it's going back and forth. They fought really hard for that.
Absolutely. Let's move to the next map, because you talked about that evacuation from Mariupol over to this is where the nuclear power plant is as well.
Yeah, and so this obviously recently became under Russian control. So probably the majority of this corridor has Russian presence, and that's probably why this is the corridor. In other words, they've identified probably a direct route. This is probably the best just infrastructure for people to move, but the Russians aren't going to just let them go out into nowhere because they don't know who and all is leaving.
So many questions about that. And also, when you see civilians leaving Mariupol, that is not out of mercy. That's out of preparation for an all-out assault.
Oh, absolutely.
With Ukrainian civilians carrying weapons, the men that stay behind, those are all now continue to be military targets. And that's even if women and children are allowed to evacuate around what is still a very dangerous route.
And you guys were just on the couch talking about how Vladimir Putin is going to decide things are whatever he wants them to be. That's his nature. That's how he does this. Oh, well, just by being a NATO country now, you're participating in the war because you provided weapons or air support. And so we're also talking about the fact that an insurgency is what's being promoted. Like President Zelensky said, civilians, arm yourself. And so the real danger here is you get so many civilians going on this path, and then all of a sudden the Russians decide there's a guy there with an AK, we can attack them. That's the kind of thing that's so dangerous about this. And you guys were saying, maybe they don't all want to take this route that's been identified by the Russians. Maybe they want to disappear into the...
Especially when other ceasefires have fallen apart and the Russian army continues to march. We'll move. Last, energy has become a pretty key part of this, and who controls it, Joey?
From our perspective, energy is the key part, right? Our inability to move against Russia is tied to energy. Europe's inability to move against Russia is tied to energy. But when we're talking about the energy in Ukraine, we have some key places here. We have 4 nuclear sites that host, I believe, 12 or 15 reactors. This is the largest in Europe. This is controlled by Russia. This is where the fire was at. We had a lot of reporting one way or the other. This is the next target here. And all reports are saying that as they move towards Odessa, this is also a place that they're concerned about.
Yeah, we see that little red inlet is not coincidental.
And that's not by accident.
I would point out also the Donbass region, which has been under dispute for 8 years, coal. Yeah. And so between this and these 2 nuclear reactors and the Russian military advances, that's a lion's share of the energy resources, because this is outside the reach currently, at least at this moment of the Russians.
And, you know, here we have Lviv, that there really isn't a Russian presence. And so just to show, all of these black dots are coal plants. These 4 dots here, these are active nuclear energy production. This is Chernobyl. It's no longer active since 2000. more than 50% of the energy in the country comes from these 4 sites, and Russia controls one and is about to control another. And that's obviously weaponizing energy means being able to turn that switch on and off.
The weaponizing of energy, both at the tactical sort of state level, but then also geopolitically.
The strategic
The
level.
weaponizing of it is what's gotten us here in the
global
first
level
place.
at this point.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.